everyone, I'm Pinky Webb. Today on What Matters Most, we get to speak with a man who has proven himself to be a great leader of one of the biggest and most recognizable automobile makers in the world, Nissan Motor Corporation. He is making his first visit to the Philippines as Chief Executive Officer of the company, and he's here to talk about the successes of the company and the lessons he's learned so far. Let's welcome Mr. Makoto Uchida, CEO of Nissan Motor Corporation. Thank you so much for joining us and giving us your time.
Well, thank you for having me here. I'm very glad to be here.
I'm glad that you're back. Why are you here in the Philippines?
No, I mean, we really would like to see that the market is evolving very fast. And one of the areas in ASEAN is the Philippines. As a matter of fact, I used to live here, and I really wanted to come back to the Philippines to see the market and how we are performing as a Nissan in this country.
So why is the Philippines such an important market for Nissan, especially in the ASEAN region?
There's a lot of history in the automotive industry in the Philippines. It started quite a long time ago, and we had a lot of involvement as a Nissan, and we developed a lot. And now we have a lot of presence that we have a fresh team here in the Philippines, and who's driving a good value given to the customer. I think this will be one of the great countries moving forward, how we can see and how we can give our value to the customer.
You mentioned a while ago Nissan has had a long and vast history. How do you think Nissan has actually maintained its popularity, well, not just in the Philippines, but all over the world?
Yeah, I think I started my job as a CEO 3.5 years ago. And during that time, initially we had a lot of challenges. First, we need to bring the brand reputation back to the market. We want to make sure that the quality of sales to be happen, which means that we want to provide more value than the volume, which was a bit of the issue when I became the CEO. So we had a lot of the idea. First of all, I announced about the next 4 years plan we call Nissan Next, starting from 2020 to 2024. That was the quality of sales to be restored as a brand reputation, while we have the discipline to make the financial number to be a better. Mm-hmm. And so far we have been achieved the 3.5 years, and I think we made a progress report to be quite on track. Good. So I'm very happy to see the situation, how our employees performing. It's not really us as executive, it's more an employee who made happen that the Nissan's reputation is be much better. Quality of sales is on track. Now we have to go and shift the second gear to moving forward.
Okay, we'll talk about that. Of course, everything it's a team effort. You have been with Nissan since 2003. And you became CEO in 2019. As you mentioned, you've been CEO for about 3.5 years. Yeah. So from 2003 to 2019, that's about 15, 16 years. With all those experience, that vast experience in the company, I guess, how would you describe yourself, number one, as a leader?
Well, it's a hard question, by the way. But I think the Nissan is a great company. I mean, everybody has an opportunity. And as long as you are dedicated to the company, you perform in the company, and the company is looking at you. I'm not originally from Nissan, but I was being able to become the CEO. It's not because of my individual effort, rather it's more on how we direct with the team, how we accomplish the things, how we try to make the contribution to the company, and the company itself is looking at you. So this is one of the beauty things about the Nissan. And everybody has opportunity to become the executive or CEO in our company.
And just like what happened to you.
I would say that, Mother. Yeah.
We have one more question before we go on a break.
Yeah.
Since we're discussing leadership, I guess in one word,
sure.
What is the most important trait that a leader should possess?
All right, for me, what is my role in the company? My role is to provide the environment to the employee who can perform 120%. That's what's important for me. So there should be the trust and also the transparency on the direction, and as well as a delegation, how much we can give to the people. And if something happens, that the executive has to take the responsibility. And at the end, CEO has to take responsibility for sure. So leadership is, in a way, we say taking the risk, but it's more on how much you can trust your employee and delegate, and how we can direct the people towards the direction the company should be.
And what is that? That has to have a lot of balancing act right there.
Of course, yes.
Right?
Yeah.
We're going to pause for a quick break. Up next, we'll talk about how Nissan took on the challenge, which was the COVID-19 pandemic. Keep it here on CNN Philippines. And you're still watching What Matters Most on CNN Philippines. Still with us is the CEO of Nissan Motor Corporation, Mr. Makoto Uchida. Earlier, we were discussing how you are as a leader. Of course, we're just coming out of the COVID-19 pandemic. Can you tell us how Nissan actually pivoted during these challenging times? What was it like?
Yeah, I think it was not easy, frankly speaking, because the automotive industry was said even before the COVID, once in a 1 century of the transformation. Then COVID come and the geopolitical situation come, supply constraint come. You know, there's a lot of uncertainties every quarterly happening in the world. And how can we adjust in terms of the business circumstances towards that kind of business situation? So it was very challenging for us. But at the end, I think we kept about Nissan Next direction, which is to have a quality of the sales, which we've been achieved constantly despite of the COVID situation. Now our financial numbers become much better than 3 years ago. Now we have to show how we can move to the next era.
During the time, there were problems with the automotive industry. I'm sure higher costs definitely to manufacture.
Yeah.
And there were shortage of microchips back then.
Yeah.
How did you actually adapt and even lead your company forward facing those challenges?
Well, first we had a limitation of the supply of the chips. Of course, we had to find what could be the alternative way to change the design of the parts itself, and that's simultaneously. But we also had to have a close communication with the suppliers. Because the chip, we use many kind in automotive. And once one parts are not there, I mean, one vehicle cannot be made. So we had to have a lot of the information sharing with the supplier under this supply chain issue. And that was, I think, one of the toughest things we had. But at the same time, more relation has been established. And we are looking at the more transparency way of the sharing our forecast and our production and where we want to go. I think this also become one of the hint to the relation engagement with our partners.
There's always something to learn from the challenges
Exactly.
and hardships. But I guess, what lessons did you really learn from the crisis?
Okay, people or company doesn't want to change their way of the business, right? And we felt like what we had been accumulating the process from the past can extend for the future. But under this COVID and under today's presence, it will never happen. So we should not think that continuation of the past way of the business can lead to your growth. That was a big wake-up call for us. Then now how much you are ready to transform, adapt to the market, especially when you talk about the vehicle product lineup, time to market, and the design to market means what does the customer want? Yeah. What is the value we can provide to the customer? I mean, we are being automotive like a Nissan. We become 90 years of the anniversary. We are doing the 90 years. And out of 90 years, I would say 50 years, we're doing the same way of the process, adding on the process. And we believe this is the right thing. But again, if you have an out-of-the-box way of thinking, and you need to look at from the vertical way, what is the changes, what is the transformation you need as a company, and that has to be extended by the leader.
Did the COVID pandemic push you to do this?
In a way, yes. Yeah. Yes, there's a lot of the realizing on difference, and I think the speed of the carbon neutrality importance become much more higher. That's why you see the electrification everywhere in the country. Yeah. Every leaders are saying we want to reach at this time on the carbon neutral, how the regulation will change. Customers' perception is also changing. There's a lot of influence of the customer as well. And how we can align to that direction, once for our growth, second for our commitment to the society.
Now that we're slowly emerging from the pandemic, what new innovations, as you were mentioning a while ago, can customers expect from Nissan?
Yeah, we made our corporate purpose when I became the CEO. We want to enrich people's life, driving innovation. Nissan has a lot of technology as a pioneer, and we want to keep and providing the good excitement to the customer, especially in the area of the electrification, which we are the pioneer of the EV, and autonomous drive. So we want to make sure those technologies to reach to the customer. And that is how we are building for the future.
So you're talking about electrification. How about plans for the Philippines and even ASEAN?
Yeah, we already have started doing the e-power because our electrification strategy has two. One is e-power, one is EV, right? Then we should always have on our shelf what to be ready, how we adapt to the market. And of course, we need to closely monitor how the market will evolve. Because when you talk about EV, we need to have an infrastructure to cope with that. But if the customer needs on a different direction, then how we can do that. So this is what we call time to market and design to market. And those are two aspects very important.
We know that you are actually a former expat. You had mentioned a while ago that you've been to the Philippines. You actually lived here for a couple of years. What did that experience in the past teach you about the Philippine market, and how does that change your perspective now that you're back?
Actually, Philippines, the one taught me about automotive industry.
Is that so?
Yes, when I joined the first company, I was not even related to the automotive business. But when I came here in 1993, that was a time I had a lot of experience about the automotive industry. I still have a lot of my teachers, colleagues in this country, and without their advice, I wouldn't been sitting down as a CEO of the Nissan. So there was a lot of things I learned in the Philippines, and I love this country. And I think there's a lot of the prosperity I see, and I like the people here, and we want to have the contribution. As a Nissan, we always want to be saved by the customer and society. We need you. That's a kind of a goal or a purpose of our enterprise.
That's something nice to say. Even hearing it from you, coming here and then coming back, in a way, it's somehow fate really had you come here to begin with and continue on your journey here in the Philippines. I have one more question before we go on a break, I guess. In a phrase, okay, I know a word sometimes is very hard to answer with. What matters most to you as a leader?
Do I have a courage to be out of the comfort zone? That's most important, because people are always comfort is always stay there. You don't want to change your lifestyle. You don't want to change your business style. But you have to be looking from the outside, out of the box way of thinking. And without doing so, you cannot cope yourself with the speed of the market evolution that we are seeing everywhere today. So that's always something I try to put myself on that shoes, not to be very stereotype of thinking or staying in one zone of the comfort.
In your comfort zone, yeah.
Yeah.
But how far must you go? It always has to be somehow calculated, I guess?
I think I always want, let's say for the board, people can tell me, if I become an obstacle of the company's direction, I should not be sitting as a CEO, right? Then I want to make sure that myself have the ability to accept the reality and how I can be transformed the company towards that direction. How can I lead that? The CEO should not be the one, the naked king in a company. Rather, we should have more united team to challenge towards the next era of the business.
Interesting. When we come back, we'll talk about the future of Nissan here in the country. Keep it here on CNN Philippines. We are still here with the CEO of Nissan Motor Corporation, Mr. Makoto Uchida, and you're watching What Matters Most on CNN Philippines. We talked about the challenges you face and, of course, a little bit about your plans for the future. So let's jumping on from that discussion. Could you tell us what Nissan has in store for the industry on a global level?
We have announced our ambition 2030. That is a vision. Of course, we want to empower the society, empower the customer's journey, how we want to lead our electrification era. We say that by 2030, we want to reach about 55% mixed ratio of the electrified vehicle worldwide. We have a plan of the 27 new models coming in, out of which 19 models are EV. So I think the world is moving faster, and I think there's a lot of expectation from the customer, and how we can cope with that speed is the most important.
So 55%, is that an ambitious number, or would you say that is calculated in a way that it could actually go higher?
No, it could actually go higher.
Yeah.
No, I think so, because before that we were saying 50, now it become 55, right? Who knows, if the world move much faster, then we need to be adjusted.
And you're ready for that?
We are ready for that.
Which market would be the most challenging for electrification? Which country?
Well, many, you say. Well, of course, we have a lot of challenge in the U.S. market as well. I mean, it's a huge country, and how we can cope with electrification is one of the challenges. Because it's not only the numbers, how we can keep the presence and the right price level
Yes.
means cost competitiveness. At the end, we are the enterprise, how are we going to balance with our financial numbers?
Which brings me to my next question. What's
Sure.
that like for the Philippine market?
I think the Philippines has a lot of opportunity. You have many players, and there's a lot of the, I think, the government support towards the future. I'm sure there's a lot of potential. I think the industry here is about 400,000 units as a TAB. It could, in my perspective, I think it should be growing more, and we should be able to participate and to accommodate our customer with a value. And again, I really would like the customer say, wow, Nissan is a very exciting product.
Yeah.
I want Nissan.
And that's something you want to hear.
Yes.
That's the car I'm going to buy. That's the
Yeah,
kind of thing
exactly.
you want to hear from the customers. Is there anything unique about the Philippine market?
I would say the Filipino, of course, I mean, they are very exciting people, right? And they like the motorsports, they like the speed car, and they also like the electrified car. I think there's a lot of variety of the customer here. So how much option we can provide to the customer, right? That's most important.
You're celebrating your 90th anniversary. What are the company's plans in terms of celebrating this milestone?
As a Nissan, we really want to prove what is our DNA, what is our strengths, what we can do the differentiation. And I really would like to customer and the society say that we need Nissan. And that's leads to our corporate purpose, enriching the people's life and driving the innovation. And that's what I always want that society to say. And for that, we need to strive ourselves. And we have a great employee, and we have a talented people here. So I'm confident, and we really would like to deliver it.
What is the DNA of Nissan?
Well, we do the things that others don't do. So if you look at the Nissan lineup from the past, we have a sporty car like a GTL, Ferrari Z, and we have an EV pioneer starting with a Leaf. We have SUV over earlier, and we have a small size vehicle named Sakura in Japan. So we have a variety of the kinds. This is what we feel that Nissan-ness, I call that manner. And that is what we always want to provide to the customer, many options and varieties of the vehicle that they can feel the excitement of the brand.
And is this just going to keep getting better for the Philippine market?
I would say that manner, then I will try my best.
Well, congratulations again. And on your upcoming 90th anniversary, good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Makoto Uchida.
Maraming salamat.
Oh, maraming salamat. Walang anuman. It's a pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for joining me as well. This has been Pinky Webb. Thank you for watching What Matters Most on CNN Philippines.